The North Central men's indoor track and field team started their quest for a 4th straight national title with a home meet that was loaded with national powers. We take a look at how the team stacked up against the rest of the field and the season ahead right now on the Cardinal Report. Welcome to the Cardinal Report. I'm Marc Dahlquist. Joining me to start things off this week is head coach for the men's indoor track and field team, Frank Gramarosso. Coach, thanks so much for coming in.
Mark, thanks for having me again.
And what an exciting way for you guys to start the season. You had the Cardinal home opener with some of the best teams in the nation there.
Yes, preseason rankings had North Central first and La Crosse second and Oshkosh third. And to have those teams, the first meet right out of the gate there was really something. And, you know, it's good to have that kind of competition, whether it relates to the national championship meet or not. But it was fun, and everybody had some great times.
Yeah, so still the national meet very far away, but it gives you guys a nice gauge to see where you sort of stand in the beginning of the season and, you know, what areas you might need to work on.
Sure. Well, we count it down. It's under 50 now, so it's somewhere in there. So it goes by very, very fast. But certainly we skipped a meet this year, so this was our really first chance to be out there and see where everybody's at in their training schedule, and all the event coaches had a chance to plan the next set of workouts for the meets coming up.
Well, you can see the countdown on North Central's athletics page. It's at 44 days and counting down to the minute.
That's right.
And the Cardinals come away with a third place finish, but all the top 3 teams, as you mentioned, La Crosse, Oshkosh, you guys were all within 10 points of each other. So really, that was a meet that could have went anybody's direction.
Sure. You know, not knowing what the entries are really like, and every event coach handling things that they felt are important for them to do without the score. The score will take care of itself. You know, there were some events we felt we did very, very well in, not knowing what the other team was going to put forth. So we could have changed some things around a little bit. For the most part, it was the first chance to get in there and see what our guys are doing, and the score took care of itself.
Well, it was definitely a fun meet. It was also the first chance for the Cardinal Report to be there, and we saw the team battle to the very end. Let's go to the highlight. Packed house at North Central Res Rec Center, where 8 teams are hoping to take down the defending national champions in their first meet of the season. Peter Garrity and the pole vaulting crew hoping to get off to a good start after putting 3 on the podium in last year's nationals. Garrity did show some rust, clearing only 1 vault all day, but it was all he needed, sailing 16 feet 6 3/4 inches to take the top spot. Onto the track, where the 60-meter hurdle finals featured 5 Wisconsin lacrosse runners, and they go 1, 2, 3 in the event, but Michael Varela and Kyle Pembroke take 4th and 5th for the Cardinals. Deontay Hackler would show his dominance in the 400-meter dash. He led this race wire to wire, creating some separation down the stretch to win it in 49.8 seconds. To the events on the track that require a little bit greater of an attention span, John Crane keeping pace in the 3,000-meter race, but he doesn't wait till the end to push the competition. About halfway through is when he decides he'd rather be the pace setter. He goes on to win with ease in 8 minutes 30.12 seconds. Matt Muth for the Cardinals claims second. But the dominance of the Wisconsin Oshkosh throwers carries them to the team title, as they take the top 2 in the weight throw and the top 3 spots in the shot put to take down the Cardinals. Coach, you guys shined in a couple events in the meet. No surprise to anybody that the pole vaulters finishing top 3 after last year putting 3 on the podium in the top 4.
Yeah, they're working very hard. Again, it was the first competition. The coach Winder has them doing some different things, and some short pulling they call it, and 5-stride vaulting, and Josh Winder, one of our captains, spoke at our meeting last night about what the vault group is doing, and reminded everybody about the process, which Coach Winder is a stickler on. Stick to the process day by day, week by week, and the end will happen. Once you get that 17-foot barrier, you want to get it all the time. So they were probably a little down in their marks, except for Peter, but there's more to come from them.
Still, yeah, very early in the season, even though some of them didn't vault the way they wanted to. Do you think that crew feels a little bit of pressure on them, maybe, that they have to perform if the Cardinals want to repeat?
No, again, after listening to Josh at our team meeting, they know they have to stick with the process, and you never know what the outcome's going to be. But certainly, we're headed into nationals with 2 national champions in the pole vault. Josh from last year indoors, and Peter 2-time outdoors.
Right.
And Peter missed the indoor season last year, so I think he's really anxious and excited, and did a lot of hard work and came out with a bang, going 16-6 the first meet.
Yeah, that's got to be nice having 2 guys that have already been on top of the podium on the same squad.
That's right.
And you got a couple other guys that are national champions, maybe not in the same event, but Deontay Hackler, he's been a part of the 4x4 winning national championship team a couple times, but he claims the 400 at the meet. He's got to replace a guy that's now one of your coaches, and Dan Benton. John Howard, how has Deontay stepped it up this year?
Well, he's one of our captains, even though he's a junior in class and in eligibility. But he's really turned into a leader in the fall, and certainly leader of the sprint group, trying to get everybody organized and keep them on the right path.
And he seems to be grooming another guy, Mustafa Aleu, who was on the 4x4 team last year, had a nice showing in the 400 this year. You guys are just churning out 400 runners like nothing, it seems like.
Well, we try to. That's a great sprint event for us. They can move up, they can move down, and sometimes Mustafa has little injuries here and there, and we're trying to help him to keep healthy and do the right thing. I know he had a very good fall, and then Christmas holidays, I think he sat on his butt a little too long, and now he's suffering some minor little aches and pains because of it. But certainly his 48-9 split on our relay team really held us together there.
And speaking of the relay team, you guys really, it's almost like a puzzle for you as a coach. You got to see what guys work well before the national meet, so you know who is the best chance for you guys to actually take home points in that event.
Yeah, sure. That's why we have the fall training period, and then of course you lose a leader like J.R. Kaba with knee surgery, and somebody's got to step in. We have Derek Nelson's a transfer and has some experience, and we have Dayton Hendrickson back after kind of a 2-year hiatus, and Randall Ellison. Both of those guys were on a national championship relay team as freshmen, so they've been there before, but they still have to do the work to put it all together and earn their spot on a relay team.
Other guys doing the work on the track are the distance group. They had a nice showing as well at the meet with guys like John Crane taking home the title in the 3,000 and the 5,000. David Janet getting first in that.
Yeah, they're, we should be tough. We're 2-time defending national champions in cross country, and we have a great distance crew, and they're doing their thing in their process. There is no 3,000 in nationals. In the future, we might have one next year when they add some events. But certainly, if I remember correctly, I think we scored 49 points in the distances, and that's in 2 events, the 3K and the 5K. So Oshkosh had the weight points. We had the 5K and 3K points.
Well, you got to play to your strengths, right, Coach?
That's right.
All right, well, don't go anywhere because we continue to break down the Cardinals with Coach Gramarosso right after this.
Loaves and Fishes Community Pantry provides more than food. We provide hope. With your help, we can provide food and hope to children, families, and seniors in need. Please visit us online to find out how you can join us in the fight to end hunger in our community. Loaves and Fishes, the power of community to change lives.
Welcome back to the show. With us still is head coach for the men's indoor track and field team, Frank Gramarosso. Coach, so we've been talking about you guys in the national meet, and you guys are defending a 3 stint as champions. Do you guys feel any pressure coming in, looking for that 4th straight title?
I don't think so. I mean, we try to do the best we can every week, and there's things you can't control, just like the first meet we had. You're not going to control who's in what event, what lane you're in, and you just do your work day in, day out, and whatever happens, happens. I mean, we've had, pole vault, for instance, there has been former national champions who have no heighted in a meet.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen. So you just stick to your process, listen to your coach, and you get to the meet and you do the best that you can. And whatever the score is at the end is the score at the end.
And the rankings are somewhat, unsimilar, I guess I would say, to other sports because they take times and top vaults and top jumps and things like that. And like you said, guys may not be able to hit that.
Yeah, it's confusing to me too. They have these ranking points in the hundreds and no one's going to score 100 points. If you can get in the high 30s or 40s, you're going to have a chance to score well indoors. So how they come up with, getting all these points based on, some head-to-head competition where you're ranked in the TFERS list, and I don't even want to study how they get it. I just read it every week.
Looking at those top 3 teams in the meet between the Cardinals, Oshkosh, and La Crosse, it seems like you guys all have your strengths as a team. Oshkosh, obviously, with the weight throwers. La Crosse, their short sprint guys seem very apt to score some points nationally. And the Cardinals, you guys have a couple field events and your mid-distance and distance guys that really seem like they'll step it up this year.
Yeah, certainly, we're counting on our returning All-Americans and our returning qualifiers to be in the hunt for the meet and be one of the top 13 at the end to get in. I think this new qualifying system has everybody in the country going at it week after week after week instead of resting or sitting on your mark thinking it's a auto or a high provisional, but there's no guarantees anymore. There's more and more competition at the end of the season for guys to qualify, but we'll keep the process going and try to get as many people in that top 13 as we can.
Well, and it seems like everybody in the country wants to run at the LB Carriers track this year because that's where the Nationals are. This Cardinal Opener meet basically blew up into a large field of teams, didn't it?
Yeah, well, we had our regular customers that have been to the last 2 years, but certainly when La Crosse called and wanted a chance to get in, I was looking for more competition for our men's team, so it was an easy thing to talk about and say,
right.
Hey, let's get them in here, and it worked out great.
What does that competition do for the guys early on in the season?
Well, they have to learn, again, stay within the process, and it's them against themselves first, and then, there's some competition there. You can see where your competition is really at, and then, we can adjust our workouts to do what we need to do for our team and our individuals, and week after week, do the best that we can.
Do you think it'll be different for some of your athletes that make it to nationals with it being at home? I mean, they're not away from everything, away from school. They still may have a morning class. I don't know how that'll work. Do you think that may affect them positively or negatively?
Well, historically, the last nationals we hosted was 2000, so it's
been a while.
It's been a while, but we were hosting it quite a bit outdoors, and you're exactly right. Everybody has a chance to experience nationals, and we found out after we hosted the next year or 2 years down the road, you had more qualifiers because it was always a mysterious thing out there. But when you get to see it, it's not that difficult. You just got to do what you do and have your coaches and listen to them, and you got to have some talent. But eventually you can see that it's not this big mysterious meet. You can get in there and be competitive. The hardest part is hitting a standard or no longer a standard, being one of the top 13. And then once you're there, if you just treat it like any other meet and do what you did to get there, you have a great chance of being an All-American.
It's almost like you get a little taste of it, and it just makes you hungrier, and you want to be there because when you guys are normally traveling, you can only take as many as you can fit on the bus.
And we've had a great following, no matter, especially with the distance group. No matter where Nationals is at, they find a way to get there, and they support the team, and they see what it's like. And I think that lights a fire in some of those guys for wanting to, do more, train harder, train better, train smarter, to be there in the future.
Well, the countdown has begun, Coach. Best of luck this season on your quest for a 4th straight national title.
Thanks, and we'll see you again.
Don't change that channel because after the break, we welcome in 2 Cardinals who are hoping to put the team back on top of the podium. We'll be right back.